Good morning, everyone. So today is Sunday, March 9th, and it kicks off our week in our reading for this week. I woke up about an hour ago, so I apologize if my voice is groggy and I look like I just rolled up out of bed. That's because I did. But I am excited to start reading. I have my fireplace going. I have my book. I am almost done this book. I have, oh, wait, there we go. So, like, the lower part is what I have left. So I'm 3/4 of the way through this book. I have about a quarter left. It's This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. And I am excited to finish this book because I am not enjoying the book as much as I had hoped to. So we're going to see how much I can get done reading today. I have a nail appointment, but that's it. And then I'm just like doing laundry, housework, and reading. So that's super exciting. I'm excited to see how much I can get done. I have about 100 pages left of this. It's currently 10:30. So yeah, we'll see how long it takes me to finish the last 100 pages of this book, and then we'll see what I read next. Okay, I just finished This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher. Not my favorite book. I did like the last 5 chapters. They were super fun. I apologize for my voice. My allergies are not doing well today. But yeah, the entire book kind of felt like if you take modern day people from like a reality TV show with all their dramatics and set them into like medieval England, essentially. So it wasn't my favorite. I would say 3 out of 5 for this one. I also didn't know it was written by 3 different people. So it's a combination. I guess the name is a combination of all their names. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I finished. I don't know what my next book is going to be, but I'm going to go and figure that out. Or I might read our book club book. I don't know yet. So, it is also almost noon. So I started reading this. I had 100 pages left at 10:30. I did stop to make breakfast for a little bit. So it took me about an hour and a half. I'm kind of like a medium-paced reader. So, all right, on to picking my next read. I'll see you when I start reading. Okay, so I know it looks like I'm probably in the same position that I was in, but I am not because it is many hours later. I went and got my nails done. New nails for St. Patrick's Day. Love it. I went and did some errands. I came back. I did some reading journal stuff. Check out our Instagram if you want to see the reading journal that I did today. D&T's book diary on Instagram. But I'm sitting down to read this monster of a book, Bridgerton. We are reading this for our book club, and we're supposed to be on chapter 8 for Tuesday. So I'm currently on chapter 3. So I'm not quite where I need to be, and the chapters are really, really long. So I'm going to try and see if I can get at least 2 chapters done by the time my boyfriend comes home for dinner. It's currently... Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:20 p.m.
It is 6:20, and he'll probably be home in about an hour. So let's see how I do.
in real life, it's actually been a couple of days since we've started this, and I realized while editing this video that I didn't film many intro clips for the days. So for that, I apologize. It does, however, mean that you're going to be seeing this shirt a couple of days. I promise I changed. It just means that I forgot to film the clip, so I'm playing catch up. Danielle had this week off as March break, and that's great for her. She 100% deserved the break, and I know she still did work even though she was on break from school and teaching. However, I didn't think ahead and take the week off, so I had to fit my reading around going to work and my normal routine. So for that, here are the clips around my free time on Monday, March 10th. My reading goals for the day weren't actually huge. My main focus was actually to finish editing part 2 of our Q&A, which we had aimed to post for this Friday, and I'm happy to report we did actually post on Friday. However, because I still had editing to do for that, that was my main focus on the Monday. So when I figured I had actually gotten enough editing done for the day, I sat down and decided it was time to give myself a reading break. This meant catching up to where we were supposed to be for our book club book of the month, which for March was book 1 of Bridgerton, The Duke and I. We had all agreed to have read up to chapter 8 for our hangout on Tuesday, and I actually hadn't started yet, so I read the first 7 chapters this day as a little break to myself from editing. Then I did a little bit more editing, but just before bed, I threw in a little bit of reading of a book I was already in the middle of. This is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I didn't get much done, but I'm still happy that I got anything read today because it was a very busy day, both with work and editing the video.
Hello! It is now Monday, March 10th. I apologize, my allergies are still bothering me. I'm not sick, it is just my allergies. So I know I left off yesterday saying that I was going to read our Bridgerton book, but I didn't end up reading. I was doing some stuff with Tricia for our first YouTube video. I'm so excited for that to come out. I probably will be out by the time you see this. So that should be so much fun. So it is Monday. It is the next day. It is the first official day of March break. Obviously, I had this weekend off, but I would have had it off anyway. So yesterday's total page count read was 137, which is awesome. Considering I was out of the house for a few hours, but today I don't have anything. It's just staying home and getting some stuff done. But my boyfriend is currently at home because he's working tonight. So usually when he's on a night shift, I'm out of the house because I'm at work. But because I'm here, that's also why I sound a little bit groggier, because I'm trying to talk a little bit quieter, because he's currently sleeping. So I can't really do a lot because I don't want to slam bang around. So I'm just going to sit here and read because that's a quiet activity. So I think we're going to start with the Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Middle England. I got to chapter 6 yesterday. And I'm excited because, oh, I'm sorry, I was crooked that whole time. I had you crooked. So rude. So I got to chapter 6 yesterday in this. Oh, hold on. There we go. I got to chapter 6 yesterday, and so I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm currently on page 37, so we'll see how much I get through. Probably could finish it today. Who knows? Let's see. morning, everyone. As you can tell, I am still struggling with my allergies, so I apologize that this video is just my weird voice. It is Wednesday, March... No, it is not Wednesday. Tuesday, March 11th? Yeah, it is Tuesday, March 11th. I am so excited because Tricia and I and our best friend Ashley are all hanging out today, and you're going to get to see all of that. If you want to, go check out our TikTok. I'm going to post some behind the scenes stuff of us hanging out. We're going to go to the bookstore. We're going to read. I think we're going to grab Starbucks at some point. It's going to be great. And Tricia and I are going down together. It's going to be so much fun. I am going to, in the way of reading today, we are going to read at Ashley's house. I am bringing The Things We Never Got Over and... Sorry, not The Things. Things We Never Got Over and Bridgerton today. So that will be super fun. Tricia will be here in less than an hour to come and pick me up, and then you will get to see all of that. It is a beautiful day out. It is so sunny. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, there we go. It is just a gorgeous day outside, and it's supposed to be warm, and I think we're on the way for hopefully the warm weather to stick around. So anyway, yeah, that's the game plan for today. So let's see how much reading we get done. I did a great job yesterday, 375 pages in total. I don't know if I'll get that much done today, but we will see. I didn't spill my drink. What? It's real. Push it.
Honey, we're home.
We're here!
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Oops.
Hi.
We are on our way to Chapters. This is our best friend, Ashley, the third in our book club. We love her, and the badass mama we were talking about.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah. And you will see her daughter. Will we see your daughter later?
Of course.
We will see her daughter later, but right now we're going to buy all the books, and we did not tell any of our significant others
Books.
because they weren't invited. All right, we'll see you when we get to the bookstore. Mwah.
Okay.
standing. Oh my goodness.
Ashley! We put her on the train and she said, "We?" Wee! Hold on to here. Look, hold on to here. Yes, good girl. Wee!
Yay! Good job!
Oh. Is that fun?
Yay!
Oh, hi. Bless you.
Okay, I am back home now from our shopping trip slash bestie hangout slash we did a lot today. And we did end up going to chapters. If you saw our TikTok, which if you have not checked out our TikTok, it is at D&T's Book Diary on TikTok. We'd love it if you checked it out. Maybe also give us a follow. But we went to the bookstore and I only purchased 4 books, which I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Considering about 2 weeks ago, I had just gone on a book buying spree. I don't want to call it a spree, but I bought a lot with my sister. So I was wanting to make sure I didn't buy too many, but now having bought new books has kind of put a kibosh in the TBR for this Realmathon slash my March TBR. So I'm going to put on hold for now Things We Never Got Over. I am enjoying it, but it is a longer book. And I'm going to flip over to 2 that I think are going to go a lot faster for me. I am going to be reading The Undetectables by Courtney Smith. It's basically about these people that are detectives but are 3 witches and a ghost. So it sounded really cool. It sounded really fun. It's about trying to find a serial killer. And then this one is Hooked by A.C. Wise. I know there are a lot of versions of the Peter Pan story. So this one is by A.C. Wise. If you have not checked out this one, I know that there is one that I think is also called Hooked. That is a smuttier book. This is not that. Apparently, I don't know. Ashley and Tricia own the smuttier one, and they said this was not it. So I'm excited to see what this one is. So I started reading this one at Chapters, which is also a clip that you'll see. But I think I might go to this one because this one is literally like 330 pages, but like it's super short-ish. I don't know. I think I'm going to fly through this one a lot faster than I would this one because this one's a bit thicker. I don't know. So, I got through the first 2 chapters of Undetectable. So I think what I'm going to do, I got through the first 2 chapters of that. I think I'm going to try and get through the first 2 chapters of this, see how fast I read with this, then make a decision. This is a very long clip for not showing any reading. I am so sorry, but it's a little bit later at night. I will give you an update tomorrow on what I choose to go with. Because right now I'm just like, I have too many choices. So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to read Hooked, though, because I am a huge Disney person, and also I love fairy tales, and I haven't read, like, a fairy tale retell in a long time, and this sounds pretty interesting to me. It's about Peter Pan's monster. It's trying to find Captain Hook. I don't know. This is what's on the back. I don't know. I'm very excited. It seems pretty great. So, let's see. Enough talking, Danielle. Get to the reading. Okay, let's see where I get. Hello, it is Wednesday, March 11th? 12th. And it is another day of Danielle's allergies. Don't know what's going on. Like, I feel fine. It's just, like, my nose and my throat. And I know I'm not sick because, like, I feel fine. I don't have a fever. And, like, when I'm blowing my nose, it's normal color, and I'm not, like, hacking up anything, so who knows? But another day of reading. Yesterday, I was debating between two books, but I've decided to go with Hooked by A.C. Wise because I got really into it, and it's like a thriller horror type story, and like I'm very intrigued. So I am on page 86. So I'm gonna see how much I can get done. Yeah. I sat here and read for a little bit, and then I just had a nice hot bath to try and help my sinuses. And I do have to be very quiet because my boyfriend just got off of nights. He's now on to day shifts, which is kind of nice. But today's his day off, so he has to sleep a little bit. And I don't want to make too much noise. So I've just been sitting here reading, watching some TV quietly. And it's kind of nice to have that time to do that because I never do. And that's what I love about March Break. So I am going to see how far I can get in this today.
It's Tricia popping in yet again from the future. Unfortunately, the Wednesday, March 12th morning clip is one of the ones that I forgot to record. I'm, however, going to claim that I didn't forget. I just didn't want you to suffer through morning Tricia. Wednesdays are one of the days that I actually have to drive into the office, which means I have to leave the house at around 6:30 a.m. I am not a morning person, so I'm gonna claim that I just didn't want you all to suffer through not so nice Tricia, who hadn't had any coffee yet. Because I work about an hour away from the office, I do tend to listen to audiobooks as I'm driving into and out of the office. This day, I was listening to the audiobook version of Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. This isn't the kind of book that I would typically pick up. However, one of my coworkers has recently finished it, and she told me to read it so that we could talk about it. So my goal for this morning was to try and finish it, or at least get as much of the book done as I could. I didn't actually end up finishing it on the way into the office. Spoilers, I apologize. But my goals for the day, reading-wise, were pretty straightforward. I wanted to get more reading done than I had the night before. I really didn't end up getting as much reading done with the friend hangout as I expected to. Not that there was anything wrong with what we did. We had a lot of fun. I got Tanaya cuddles. It was amazing. I love that girl. She's perfection in a toddler. Hard to believe, but she's an angel for me. I'm not her parent, so I don't have to deal with her at bedtime, but I do enjoy the anti-playtime. However, with that and catching up and going out for dinner and the drive from Niagara to Brantford, we didn't really do as much reading as I expected yesterday. So my goal for this day was to try to get a little bit more reading done. And yeah, I guess you'll see how that ended up, whether it was in my favor or not. I am back in the car, driving home from work this time instead of into it. Thankfully, the sun's up, so it's not just darkness all day, every day. I did not manage to finish It Ends With Us during my drive in this morning, but I did manage to finish it during my lunch. I decided to actually go for a little stroll through where I work and listen to the audiobook during that, so I was able to finish it. Now on my drive home, I'm going to be listening to It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, the second book. I wasn't going to pick it up, but my colleague who told me to read It Ends With Us said that I should read it so that I get closure to some of the plot lines. So It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover is about a florist, Lily Singh, and her relationship with a neurosurgeon, Ryle. Can't remember his last name. My apologies. I will put it on the screen somewhere. But yeah, so it's about Lily and Ryle, and it dives into some really dark topics like domestic abuse, the different ways that can look, generational trauma. There's mentions of cheating, not that it actually happens in the book, but there's conversations around it. So the first book by Colleen Hoover my colleague got me to read was actually Verity, and I think I enjoyed Verity more. Well, I know I enjoyed Verity more, but I think Verity is going to be my favorite Colleen Hoover book for the foreseeable future. It was just really interesting, and I don't know if I'll be reading much more by Hoover in the next little while. So for a while, I assume that Verity will be my favorite. Not that It Ends With Us was awful. I just don't know how much more by Colleen Hoover I'll be reading. It Starts With Us, the second book, I believe, is about Lily and Atlas. Things that happened in their past when they were children, and new things that are happening now in like modern day for their lives. So I'm gonna stop yapping and get to listening to that. Good morning. It is Thursday, March 14th. It's about 6:15, and I am already in my car for the day. My friend and I go to the gym Tuesday and Thursday mornings before work, which means I have to get up at the butt crack of dawn just to get there in time so we have actual time at the gym to do stuff. As for my reading goals of the day, first and foremost, to make up for the fact that I fell asleep while attempting to read yesterday. That is not my finest moment. I was very tired from all of the driving that I did on Tuesday, and I hope I can at least make up for it a little bit today. I don't nap very often, but I very clearly needed it. Book-wise, I think my only real goal for the day is to finish It Starts With Us. That's the sequel to Colleen Hoover's It Starts With Us. No, the follow-up to Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us is It Starts With Us. My same colleague has told me that I need to now read this one so that I get a little bit of closure for some of the characters in the series. So my goal for today, reading-wise, is to finish that. If I can get any extra reading done around that, that'll be great. I will enjoy lots of reading. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to leave you there so I can focus on driving, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
The man I chose to be my husband somehow disrespected me in ways no one deserves, all while we were at such a high point in our lives. I'm grateful for Atlas because I know he's the standard I now hold people to. He's the standard I should have held Ryle to from the very beginning. There's a convenient gust of cold air that sweeps between us. It would be the perfect excuse for Atlas to pull me to him, but he doesn't. Instead, the quietness builds between us until there's only one thing left to do. Either kiss or say goodnight. Atlas brushes a strand of my hair from my forehead. I'm not going to kiss you yet. I hope my disappointment isn't obvious, but I know it is. I practically deflate in front of him. Is it my punishment for falling asleep? Of course not. I'm just feeling inferior after reading about our first kiss. I sputter laughter. Inferior to who? Yourself? He nods. Teenage Alice through your eyes was quite the charm.
best reading buddy ever.
Okay, I'm back. I changed my laundry. So I am currently still on Hooked. I am on page 178 out of 331. So I'm really enjoying it. It's like super, super good. But there's like a lot. And I also was not feeling the greatest yesterday with my allergies, so I did not do a lot of reading. So we will see. I'm pretty sure I will finish this book today. We'll just see how far it is. So we've had our first 45-minute bout. So we're now an hour into the reading sprint and it goes for 6 hours. So I will see how I do. I feel like I am reading slower, and I don't know if that's because like I'm like having a hard time getting through it, or if I'm getting distracted, or I don't know. But I feel like I'm reading slower today for some reason. So I will update you in a little bit of how far I get. So it is currently 11:30 and I am on page 178. I finished Hooked. I ranked it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the whole plot. If you are a Disney fan or a fairy tale fan and you're looking for a solid retell, which I have been for quite a few months now, looking for a good retell, this one, super good. There were a few grammatical errors that took me kind of out of the story, so that's why I gave it a 4. I am still doing my reading sprint. It is going fantastic. I have been getting so much done during the 15-minute breaks. I'm going to be doing my reading journal for the next little bit for 45 minutes. Then I'm going to go do either, I've got a few chore things that I want to do, and then I'm going to head back to reading things we never got over. And then I will decide on my next book after. So I'll see you in a little bit. Also, it is 3:30. So that was great. That took me 4 hours to finish, which not bad. So awesome. Yay.
Hello! My goals for today are pretty lax. I'm working from home, so of course that's going to take priority. There's a couple of last minute editing things I want to get done for today's video, or the video that's coming out today. So when you see this video, it'll already be posted. So if you haven't yet, recommend checking that out. I think it was fun. I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to spend my lunch on. After I'm done work for the day, I want to try to get a little bit of reading done because I try to get a little bit every day. It doesn't always happen, but I do try. And then got to work on the video that's going out on Monday. But other than that, I'm just gonna take it easy.
Chapter 1. I've been locked up for 264 days. I have nothing but a small notebook and a broken pen and the numbers in my head to keep me company. 1 window, 4 walls, 144 square feet of space, 26 letters in an alphabet I haven't spoken in 264 days of isolation. 6,336 hours since I've touched another human being. You're getting a cellmate. No, roommate, they said to me. We hope you rot to death in this place. Wait, for good behavior, they said to me. Another psycho just like you. No more isolation, they said to me. They are the minions of the reestablishment, the initiative that was supposed to help our dying society. The same people who pulled me out of my parents' home and locked me in an asylum for something outside of my control. No one cares that I didn't know what I was capable of, that I didn't know what I was doing. I have no idea where I am. I only know that I was transported by someone in a white van who drove 6 hours and 37 minutes to get me here. I know I was handcuffed to my seat. I know I was strapped to my chair. I know my parents never bothered to say goodbye. I know I didn't cry as I was taken away. I know the sky falls down every day. The sun drops into the ocean and splashes browns and reds and yellows and oranges into the world outside my window. A million leaves from 100 different branches dip in the wind, fluttering with the false promise of flight. The gust catches their withered wings only to force them downward, forgotten, left to be trampled by the soldiers stationed just below. There aren't as many trees as there were before, is what the scientists say. They say our world used to be green, our clouds used to be white, our sun was always the right kind of light. But I have very faint memories of that world. I don't remember much from before. The only existence I know now is the one I was given, an echo of what it used to be. I press my palm to the small pane of glass and feel the cold clasp my hand in a familiar embrace. We are both alone, both existing as the absence of something else. I grab my nearly useless pen with the very little ink I've learned to ration each day and stare at it. Change my mind. Abandon the effort it takes to write things down. Having a cellmate might be okay. Talking to a real human being might make things easier. I practice using my voice, shaping my lips around the familiar words unfamiliar to my mouth. I practice all day. I'm surprised I remember how to speak. I roll my little notebook into a ball I shove into the wall. I sit up on the cloth-covered springs I'm forced to sleep on. I wait. I rock back and forth and wait. I wait too long and fall asleep. My eyes open to two eyes.
Hello! Happy Saturday, March 15th. Literally every clip, I think, is just me very unsure of what the date is. I did not film a lot yesterday because I was working on this bad boy yesterday because I have already decided what my April readathon is going to be, and I was creating my spreads for that. I'm joining something called the Magical Readathon, and it was a lot of like figuring out like how it works and the books and stuff and creating my magical character, which I will get Tricia to put right here, the picture that I made for it, because I think it looks so cool. I am not into like D&D or fantasy games or whatever, but just making it was really super cool. I found some random like AI website for like creating D&D characters, I guess. I don't know. But I think it turns out really cool. So I was doing that. But I realized that I never like filmed to say what I was reading. I did end up starting my fifth book. Yes, fifth book this week. So, I still have things we never got over on the go. I've been kind of like reading chunks of it, and then as I'm reading like other books. But I started A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. It is a Veronica Speedwell mystery. I have not read any of her books, and I've not read any of these mysteries before. But I do know you can read them as standalone. I guess each plot is like, what am I trying to say? Like significant to itself? I guess? Yeah. So, I currently am on page 117. So I started this Thursday or Friday. No, yesterday. So I'm currently on chapter 12, page 117. And today I have the readathon that I'm part of for this month, the Realmathon. My team is having a reading sprint. Well, it's for everybody, but my team is hosting it. I am not hosting it. My team leader is hosting it. So I want to jump on for that. So that's at 5. So I'm going to read a little bit, continue doing some chores around the house, and then jump on to that reading sprint. So that should be super duper fun. Let's see how much we can get read today. Let's do it.
It's Saturday, March 15th, and it's just about 9 a.m. If you're wondering why I'm outside, where is she? I've taken Yzma to the dog park. My goals for today, before I have to go out for the evening, get her very tired at the dog park, read a little bit, edit some books, and then go out for the night with my friends. So here's hoping I get at least a little bit of reading done, and Yzma is tired enough to let me. I have plans with some friends this evening, but I managed to get to where we're meeting about an hour early. Luckily, I brought a book with me, so I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try to bang some of that out before I actually have to get out of the car and meet them.
Hey y'all, it's Danielle, and you have just watched our week of our reading, all of the clips, but I realized that in some of the days I didn't actually say how many pages I had ended up reading for that day. So I want to do this one last final clip to kind of show all the books that I read for the week, because I also didn't film some of them, and my grand total of pages read. Now, I do want to preface a couple of things. So number one, I was on March break this week, so obviously I was able to read way more than if I would have been working. Two, I didn't have a lot of plans, so usually I'm pretty busy during the week. But this week I ended up wanting to really take a break. I felt super busy in my life, and my only plans were with Tricia and Ashley that you saw on our TikTok, and also a video might be coming out. It might already be out, actually. So there were those plans, but that was pretty much it. And third, my allergies decided to make an appearance and be my bestie. So I ended up towards the end of this week not feeling super well, really struggling with that. So I ended up just kind of sitting at home and reading more. So that is a preface as to why my page count and book count for the week is higher than it would have been if I was working. So let's get into this. I'm going to tell you all the pages I read for every single day and show you all the individual books that I got through / are still currently reading. So on Sunday, when we started this video, I read a total of 172 pages. Monday, a total of 366 pages. Tuesday, a total of 31 pages. Wednesday, a total of 131 pages. Thursday, a total of 205 pages. Friday, a total of 17 pages. And Saturday, a total of 361 pages. So definitely Monday and Saturday were my biggest reading days. So that gives us, and we'll superimpose the number here, drum roll, a grand total of 1,283 pages read for the week. What? That is crazy. I did not think I was going to get that much done. I am uber proud of myself. So now let's get into our kind of book breakdown. I started a total of 7 books, finished 3, currently still have 4 on the go. So let's start with my finished ones. So I have 3 books that I finished. I do know, I'm pretty sure I did film a clip of finishing all of these books, but to recap, I finished This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher, and I gave it a 3-star rating. Then I finished The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson, and I gave it a 5-star. And then I finished Hooked by A.C. Wise, and I gave it a 4-star. So my average rating for the week was 4 stars. Then I have 4 books that I have started but have not yet finished. A few I'm a little bit close to finishing, some a little bit further away. So first up, we have our Bridgerton book, our beast of a book that we are reading for our book club. And I am currently on page 138. Now, this is 2 books put together, okay? But I am page 138 of the first book. We're only reading the first book, The Duke and I. And I'm 32% through of the first book. Then I started Things We Never Got Over. Again, another monster of a book, but a beautiful book. And I am currently on page 66, 12% through. Okay. Then I started A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. Okay. This is a Veronica Speedwell mystery. I'm currently on page 222, 63% of the way through.
And then this one is The Wagging Tail's Dog's Home by Sarah Hope. And I am currently on page 156, 54% of the way through.
Hello, I'm jumping in for the last time in this video, just because, as you saw, Danielle did an amazing wrap-up of her reading this week, so I figured I should probably do the same. As she said, she was on March break this week, so she had a break from work, but I did not. So any reading I've done was around work and other commitments that I already had. I didn't have too much planned this week, which was good. So I was able to have a couple of good reading days, though the days that I was busy, I didn't get much done, so that's how it happens sometimes. On Sunday, I didn't actually get any reading done, so my page count for Sunday is actually 0. I focused instead on editing the videos that went out last week, more so the one that went out on the Monday than the one that came out on Friday. On Monday, my page count was 163 pages, Tuesday, 125 pages, Wednesday, 306 pages, Thursday, 420 pages, Friday, only 46 pages, Saturday, 157 pages, and that brought me to a grand total of 1,217 pages. Overall, not an awful reading week. There definitely were days I wish I had gotten more done, especially knowing that we were doing this and the goal was to get as much reading done as possible. I definitely slacked a couple of days. Surprisingly, the day I fell asleep is not my lowest page count day. Not even close, unfortunately. I guess I managed to get a lot done before I decided to read in bed and promptly fell asleep. So with all of that said and done, my best days were actually Thursday with 420 pages done and Wednesday with 306 pages, which shocks me a little bit because Wednesday's the day I fell asleep. However, my worst day was very clearly Sunday. I got 0 pages done. Sometimes life just happens. Next, I believe Danielle spoke about the books that she read throughout the week, so that's where I'm going to go next. Some of the books I have sitting beside me, other books you'll see a picture on screen. So I read a total of 8 books this week. I did not finish all of them, but I read from 8 books this week. The first book I did finish was It Ends With Us. I gave that a 3 stars. It was okay, not my favorite Colleen Hoover book. You've already seen me talk about it a couple of times. The second book I finished was It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Again, it was okay. Another 3 stars. Nothing awful with it. It's not one of my favorites, but I didn't hate my time in the world. The third book that I finished this week, I do actually have in front of me, and that is The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up by Mark Manson. This book, unfortunately, I'm only giving 2 stars. I can see its place in the world. I probably would have enjoyed it more if I'd read it years ago. Nowadays, it didn't give me what I expected from it, so it is what it is. A book I was already reading before the week started and continued to read was The Women in Black by Madeleine St. John. I'm not done this book yet, but I do expect to be done it by the end of the month. It started to pick up where I am, so I assume I'll fly through it at this point. Books that I started this week. Bridgerton, Book 1, The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. This is actually 2 books, as Danielle said. We're only reading the first one this month, so I read what was needed for our hangout on Tuesday and then a little bit past that. The next book I read was actually A Pirate's Life for Tea. This book I actually picked up on Tuesday at Chapters with Ash and Danielle. I am so excited to finish this book. I loved the first book. Can't spell trees without T, so I expect I'm going to love the second one just as much, if not more. So I expect to be done this. And I also picked up the third book, See You at the Altar, on Tuesday. So I expect to be done both A Pirate's Life for Tea and See You at the Altar by the end of March. So stick around, see if that actually ends up happening. The next book that I started this month was actually Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I've had that book on my physical TBR not very long. I actually picked it up last month, the start of this month. Whatever day I went shopping with Danielle to get bargain books at Value Village. I picked it up that day. I actually lent it out to a friend, so she actually has the physical copy of this book, so I'm listening to the audiobook version, which is why I don't have a book to show you right now. The last book that I started this week, I do own a physical copy, but I've also lent that to a friend, so I can't hold it up for you. That's The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I'm listening to it as an audiobook as I drive right now. That's my commuting book, so I don't physically have it. I do have the first book in the series, Throne of Glass. This is a reread for me. I've read/listened to this series multiple times, so I do know what happens, but sometimes I prefer my reading or my audiobook when I'm driving to be something that I've already read, so I don't have to worry about missing anything as I pay attention to the road. And that's all of the reading that I did this week. I expect to get more done by the end of the month. I'm not terribly happy with how much I got done this week, but I can admit that it's a decent amount read for a week that I did not take away from work.
So that is it for my reading this week. I definitely will be finishing some of these books soon, maybe even some of them today. But I hope you had a wonderful time watching us, and put down a comment below what you managed to read for the week. And we hope that you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!